Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm April Knight and for Sandra Gumansing. Topping our newscast, officials from WAPA say the extended drought is affecting the authority's electrical distribution systems and in a bad way. That's part of the reason there's been sporadic power outages. There are some other issues and WAPA officials want to get the word out. News 2's Erica Parsons has that story.
Yes, we really want to apologize to the customers in both districts for what they've been experiencing in the last couple of weeks.
The ongoing drought is not just affecting farmers, it's hitting the power company as well.
While the trees that normally grow up into the power lines aren't growing at the same rate without the rain, we are seeing the limbs get pretty brittle, and they're falling and they're breaking off and they're hitting power lines, they're taking out feeders, and it's causing some trouble in our system.
WAPA's Executive Director Hugo Hodge says some of the utilities' customers have been experiencing daily outages for the last 3 weeks. That's because of the challenges caused by the dry conditions.
Additionally, we have a natural cleansing that takes place with the rain that washes off the salt buildup from the spray on the different components. And with the lack of rain, that's not taking place. So there's some additional salt buildup on our insulators and whatnot to take care of.
Those problems are occurring all throughout the territory. On St. Thomas, Hodge says there are also challenges with the generation units as well as the quality of fuel oil burned by Unit 25.
What we're trying to do is stabilize the system. There was first a problem with Unit 15 that was intermittent with the excitation. We finally got a handle on that. And now it appears that Unit 25, the least unit that everybody knows about, it has some issues with the fuel quality.
Officials say WAPA's crews have been working around the clock to stabilize the electrical generation and distribution systems in both districts. Erica Parsons, News 2.
WAPA's customers are encouraged to report all service interruptions to the authority either by phone or online at www.viwapa.vi. As a joint session of the Virgin Islands Board of Elections convened Friday to get a jump on 2016, issues that plagued the 2014 general election remain unresolved, like what to do about ineffective voting machines and could fixing the problem create more headaches for the beleaguered body charged with protecting the sacred franchise that is the hallmark of democracy. News 2's Monica Jonigan has more.
First, a few facts. The DS200 voting machines do not tabulate votes as they should, in accordance with current VI code. When a voter marked the party symbol on the ballot, they vote for all candidates along the party lines. But when they vote for an independent candidate, the DS200 machine counted only that vote, throwing out all other votes cast along party lines. The result? Post-election day chaos that included lawsuits, delayed results, and public outrage at the hand counting of ballots called into question the veracity of the 2014 election results. Fact: the problem can be fixed. Today's board tried to decide how to approach the Nebraska-based company contracted for the work. Under discussion, a draft of a letter yet to be signed by board supervisor Carolyn Fawkes admitting the board knew about the problem, but that fixing it would have resulted in decertification of the software.
I believe it would make their election of your duty not to sign it and send it out as the supervisor of the election, whose job and duty is to carry out the policy of the joint boards of election.
Then what we basically telling the people is the election of 2014 won't accurate and it won't fair. And I certified, so who certified should not be the one signing and some respects to sign this letter. We were active participants in the system that was sent to us since 2011, October.
Also on the table, bringing the St. Croix and St. John voting districts into compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act.
I don't think we should invest in fixing the conference room. I don't think our long-term goal should be trying to get a piece of land and build a building.
Monica Jonigan, News 2.
In 2002, the VI election system received $2 million in federal funds from the Help America Vote Act. About $235,000 in funds remain, but they cannot access them until polling places in all districts are ADA compliant. Was sad to report another drowning, this time in Frederickstead. On Thursday evening, police say officers responded to the call of a man being drowned, the victim's friend told officers that he and the victim, now identified as 21-year-old Ezekiel Edwards, had jumped off the Ann Abramson Pier. When the friend surfaced, he heard Edwards calling for help. The friend tried to assist but was almost pulled under by the struggling Edwards. The friend was able to call out to a group of divers who were packing up their gear. They dove in, pulled Edwards out. First responders tried to resuscitate the victim but were unable to. Condolences to the family. And some more sad news to report. Condolences have been pouring in all day from lawmakers and government officials for longtime broadcaster Alvin Southwell, better known to the community as Alvin G. Southwell was found unresponsive at his home Thursday after station owners became concerned when he didn't report to work for the afternoon. For the afternoon newscast, they sent someone to check his home to check on him, and that's where he was discovered. Southwell most recently worked for 107.9 Vibe radio station, and he delivered 2 newscasts daily, an early morning newscast and a late afternoon broadcast. He was known for his distinctive voice and ability to provide up-to-the-minute, accurate news coverage. The cause of death is not known at this time, but last September, Southwell went into a diabetic coma while delivering the news and had to be taken to Juan Louis Hospital. Southwell began his career in high school in his hometown of Antigua and quickly grew as a broadcast journalist in the British and U.S. Virgin Islands. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends during this difficult time. The Senate Committee on Homeland Security, Justice and Public Safety met Friday to consider several bills. Officials from the VIPD and the AG's office testified on a bill to create a local forensics crime lab and another to establish special requirements for carrying concealed weapons. Senators voted to move forward a bill that would prohibit people from having and wearing body armor, particularly to commit crimes.
That the committee is aware that there is this arms race that's taking place, where the criminals are the ones who escalate. They get the automatic weapons, they get the street sweepers, they get the bulletproof vests, and we have to have a counterweight to that. We have to put in place laws that will work in the favor of the police and, of course, law-abiding citizens. So this law definitely will help.
Well, we're just about a week or so away from the opening of the school year. This week, Senator Gene Ford organized a school tour on St. Croix to check on our schools there, and he said there's still work to be done, but it's not just the infrastructure that poses a challenge to education officials. There's also the lack of teachers. Here's more. The Virgin Islands is losing teachers to retirements and resignations, and the major issue is salary.
The recruitment efforts have not been very great, as we are currently offering very low salaries. Even the graduates are not, the salaries are not attractive enough for them.
Entry-level teachers fresh out of college or with minimal experience get paid in the lower range of $30,000 a year. According to Senator Gene Ford, chairman of the Senate's Education and Workforce Committee, one of the reasons for the teacher shortages is that teachers are resigning and looking for jobs in places that offer significantly higher salaries. With the current teacher drain, the Virgin Islands is forced to look overseas for teachers to fill the void.
Not just only the United States jurisdiction, they're also reaching out to the Philippines and as well as the Dominican Republic.
The VI is also looking for teachers in Puerto Rico, which has just closed a few schools in its jurisdiction. But this does not solve the problem of low teachers' wages driving away local talent, and the Education Department's budget cut of a couple of $1 million in fiscal year 2016 does not help matters at all.
We certainly have pledged in the 31st legislature to do all that we can to put as much money as we can back into education, because we do recognize the need for it.
Keep it here on News 2. We'll have more on the territory schools and look back on some hot school topics as we kick off the school year. Lieutenant Governor Osbert Potter is on his way out of the territory headed to Chicago. Potter will be attending the National Association of Insurance Commissioners summer meeting. As Lieutenant Governor Potter serves as the territory's insurance commissioner, he's expected to return August 19th. In his absence, Senate President Neville James will serve as the acting lieutenant governor. Meanwhile, Virgin Islands lawyer Tom Bolt has been elected chairman of the American Bar Association's Law Practice Division. That division's purpose, according to Bolt, is to address the dramatically changing landscape of law practice as well as its impact on the public. Bolt is a member of the Virgin Islands Bar Association and a commissioner of the National Conference of Commissioners on Uniform State Laws. He is managing attorney at Bolt Nagy PC, focused on business, real estate, finance, and government relations. Congratulations. MoneyGram services have been suspended at multiple locations across the territory until further notice. That's according to the Commissioner of Licensing and Consumer Affairs and the Lieutenant Governor's Office. The decision was made by MoneyGram's regional office in Florida. The following locations are affected: on St. Thomas Express Payment Center in Tutu Park Mall, Mail Plus on Dronigan's Gata, and Mail Plus in Niski Center. On St. Croix, the two express payment centers at both Plaza Extra locations, and on St. John, the Express Payment Center in Cruz Bay. 3 other St. Thomas locations remain open at Caribbean Travel Agency in Havenside and In Touch LLC at Subbase and Estate Thomas. Local officials have written to MoneyGram requesting other authorized representatives to serve St. John and St. Croix. Turning our attention overseas, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry was in Cuba yesterday, the first Secretary of State to visit the country in 70 years. That's to preside over the raising of the American flag at the U.S. Embassy, the first time in 54 years. Meanwhile, a massive explosion in Tianjin, China. It looked like a scene from a nuclear Armageddon film, and it was caught on video. The blasts, one of which was the equivalent of more than 20 tons of TNT exploding, left at least 56 people dead, 70 injured and counting. That's according to officials. More than 6,000 people were displaced by the fire and explosions that rocked the port Wednesday night. According to preliminary investigations, hazardous chemicals ignited in the middle of the night, causing the explosion that leveled city blocks. Keeping our eye on the economy, here's the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. Everything up: the Dow 69, NASDAQ 14, S&P 8. Coming up on News 2, the St. Croix Chamber shines the light on one local business. We'll tell you why. Plus, we have the most adorable dog to tell you about coming up on our Pet of the Week. Welcome back. Well, today Social Security turned 80. On this day in 1935, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed the Social Security Act. That landmark legislation continues to provide protection for some of the most vulnerable members of the society. The results of a recent survey show that 80% of Americans plan to rely on Social Security in a substantial way. Meanwhile, Margaritaville Vacation Club opens today, or at least Phase 1 opens today. That means the timeshare section of its operations. That includes some 62 studios and studio deluxe units, 8 presidential suites, and the property boasts a pool and a pool bar, a dive shop, fitness center, and a game room. Phase 2 will yield more than 260 condo units, and so far 56 people have been employed at the resort. We'll keep you updated. The St. Croix Chamber of Commerce recognized another local business Thursday during their blue ribbon cutting ceremony. This time it was Cast Iron Pot, a restaurant and recent member of the chamber.
The cast iron is the way to go now, because mostly everybody's going with cast iron, and we cook all our food in cast iron, the fish, the salmon balls, the pork chops. We use all different pots and we use the cast iron. It gives it a better flavor, and that's one of the reasons we did this.
The reason why we're doing this is to bring back our culture, because we lack a lot of culture, and our hospitality business in the islands is real down, so we want to bring that back, and we want to bring back just family setting for, for everybody to come out and enjoy local food.
We've been here for a while, but having the chamber to give us this chance to actually come out and let the people know that we're here, and we're hoping after this it'll be a big bang. So we appreciate the chamber doing what they did for us today.
Make sure to check it out and support our local businesses. The University of the Virgin Islands continued its outreach this week with its Backpack for Success project. On Wednesday, university students, faculty, and staff donated school supplies to the 18 students at the Queen Louise Home for Children. The backpacks were made to order based on the children's ages, grade, favorite colors, favorite character, and the school supplies they needed most. The volunteers bought the backpacks as well as the notebooks, folders, pens, pencils, rulers, books, shoes, and clothing. Supplies were also donated to the teachers, and the RT Park donated another $500. The Backpack Project is one of the 4 community service projects that UVI took on this summer. Well, Neighborhood Pharmacy on St. Croix is partnering with Rudy Live to give away free school bags and supplies this Sunday as well. From noon to 6 p.m., the group is hosting the Back to School Summer Mania, and there will be more than 300 giveaways. The event will be in the parking lot across from Mountain Gas Station on Central Line Road. There will be live performances by Pumpa and Rudy Live, as well as other performances. Our pet of the week came by today, and she is one fashionable canine. We'll let our Humane Society volunteer Tessa Lineburner tell you all about her, and remember to call the Humane Society at 775-0599 if you want to foster or adopt one of their adorable critters.
This is Fashion. She's a 2-year-old Terrier Retriever mix. She had a litter of 2 puppies. Both of them are happily in good homes right now, but she is left, so she really needs a good home. She likes other dogs, she's good with cats, she's great with small kids. She's very, very playful. I believe she's very well trained so far. If you want to come down, you can come down and volunteer and play with them. If you're not interested in her, please come down and see the other dogs. And if you're interested in cats, we do have a lot of varieties of cats at Humane Society.
And thank you for that, Tessa. That was Fashion, our pet of the week. Be sure to stick around for your News 2 AccuWeather forecast.